Great to see you here again. My name is Luc de Koster. I'm founder of the Koster Academy. And in this new video, I will talk about some practical applications related to mathematics. We don't only use mathematics to do mathematics, to solve equations, but there are a lot of practical applications. And that's what I want to do and share with you in this new video of the Math Survival Guide. But before we continue, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Let's have a look at average and weighted averages. I've seen that some of my students are troubling or are having problems with the concept of averages and weighted averages. Not so much with the averages themselves, but typically when we talk about weighted average. Now let's have a look and let's consider a number of real numbers, a1 up to an, which means that we have in fact n numbers and we can create or define the average, which is the sum of those n numbers divided by n. Now let's have a simple example here. So basically we have a1 plus a2 up to an divided by n. And when we select some examples, some numbers, some real numbers, for example, a1 is 7, a2 is 9, a3 is 11. Well, when we calculate this, we find that this is in fact 27 divided by 3 is equal to 9. Now, when we look at the exercises, let's have another exercise here where I select a1 equal to 5, a2 equal to 7, a3 equal to 9, a4 equal to 11. Now we can say that there are 4 numbers, and when we calculate the average, we add 5 with 7, 9, and 11, and we divide by 4. So basically we have here 32 divided by 4, which gives us an average which is equal to 8. Some negative numbers, because until now I've only been using positive numbers, but we can also have cases where we have to calculate an average where we also have negative numbers. Let's say that a1 is minus 7, a2 is minus 3, a3 is 5, a4 is 7, a5 is equal to 11. When we now calculate the average, we know that we have 5 numbers, so n is equal to 5, and we can say that the average is the sum of all these numbers divided by 5. So I have minus 7 minus 3 plus 5 plus 7 minus 11. So we have now divided by 5, it gives us 13, a total, divided by 5, which gives us an average of 2.6. Now let's have a look when we have some repeating numbers. Some cases we can have the same number reappear more times. And in this case I have a1 which is equal to 2 only once. We have a2 up to a4 which is the number 4. Basically we see this number 3 times. a5 to 6, 7, so we have twice 7. a7 once, which is equal to 8, a8, which is equal to 12. Now we say that n is equal to 8. We have 8 numbers, but when we write the formula, we can say it's 2 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 7 plus 7 plus 12 divided by 8. And we can say that the 3 times 4, we can replace it by 3 times 4 or 12. And 7 plus 7, we can replace it by 2 times 7, which is equal to 14, which gives us again the adjusted equation. So now we can say that we have 2 plus 3 times 4 plus 2 times 7 plus 8 plus 12 divided by 8, and we find that we have 2 plus 12 plus 14 plus 8 plus 12 divided by 8, which gives a total of 48 divided by 8, and we find that this is 6. Now, when we look at this, what we do is we replace the repeating numbers by multiplying the number with the frequency. The frequency for 4 is 3, so we replace the 3 times we have 4 by 3 times 4. For 7, the frequency is 2, so we multiply 2 by 7. And we have the frequency multiplied with a number. And that is already the introduction to what we can call the weighted average. Another example now, and in this example, I say that we have A1 is equal to 5, A2 till 4 is 7, and then we have A5 till 10, which is equal to 12. Basically, we see that we have 10 numbers here, and when we look at it, we can say that we have A2, 3 and 4, it's 3 times 7, and we have A5 till 10, it's basically 6 times we have the number 10. Now, when we go to the next element, we can say that n is equal to 10, so the divisor for calculating the average is equal to 10, and we find that the average in this case is 5 plus 3 times 7 plus 6 times 12 divided by 10. When we rearrange this equation, I can say that we have 1 divided by 10 times 5, plus 3 divided by 10 times 7, plus 6 divided by 10 times 12, which we can write 1 divided by 10 is 10%, 3 divided by 10 is 30%, 6 divided by 10 is 60%. And now we can rewrite this equation using the weights of the numbers. So the frequency that a specific number occurs is basically the weight of that number. For 5 we have a weight of 0.1, which is 10%. For 7 we have 0.3, which is 30%. And for 12 we have 0.6, which is 60%. And now we can calculate this. So first we have 0.5, 0.3 times 7 is 2.1, and 0.6 times 12 is 7.2. When we add all of them, we find that the average here is 9.8. Let's look at some percentages and the weights. Let's say we have a number A1 which is equal to 5 with a frequency of 1 out of 10, or a weight of 10%. A2 till 4 is 7. Here we have a frequency of 3 out of 10 with a weight which is equal to 30%. And the remaining numbers, 5 till 10, which is equal to 9, gives us a frequency 6 out of 10 and 60%. Now, when we put this in the formula, we find in fact that A1 or 5 has a weight of 10%, A2, the number 7, has a weight of 30%, A3, which is equal to 9, has a weight of 60%, and when we total all these weights, we find 100%. Now we can say that the average of A is equal to 0.1 times 5, plus 0.3 times 7, plus 0.6 times 9, which gives us 0.5, plus 2.1, plus 5.4, which gives us a total average of 8. Now, I want to introduce some formula here that when you go to, for example, project management, we're using what we call the PERT formula. And the PERT formula is basically a weighted average that is used to calculate, for example, an expected duration of a project or an activity. And the equation is given as A plus 4m plus b divided by 6. A, m, and b are real numbers, and we will identify them when we are talking about PERT in project management. But let's just have a look at the formula, because we are looking here at what we call a weighted average. Now, when we see the term 4 times m, it means that I have 4 times m, and it's equal to m plus m plus m plus m. And we write this as, or we simplify it as 4 times n. Basically, what we can say here is that the numbers A and B have a weight of 1. On the other hand, M has a weight of 4. And when we look at the total numbers, total number that we have, we say that N is equal to 1 plus 4 plus 1. So basically, this is equal to 6. And that is why we divide this formula by 6. And that's a typical application of what we call a weighted average. We have another example here, and we use the weights now. We're going to use the different weights. We can calculate them using frequencies, or we can calculate them or use them using percentages. So let's say that we have 20 times the number 7, 55 times the number 10, and 25 times the number 12. Basically, we can say that the total numbers that we have is 20 plus 55 plus 25, which is equal to 100. And when we put this in the equation, we find 20 times 7 plus 55 times 10 plus 25 times 12 divided by n, which is in this case 100. And when we look at this in the next slide, we see that we find the same formula. I just rewrite the same formula. And now I'm going to rewrite it in a different way. So I'm always going to divide the frequency by n. So first, for 7, we find 20 as the frequency divided by n is 20 divided by 100. For 10, we find 55 divided by 100. And for 12, we find 25 divided by 100. Now we can calculate the percentages, because 20 divided by 100 is 20% or 0.2. 55 divided by 100 is 0.55 or 55. And 25 divided by 100 is 0.25 or 25%. And we can rewrite the equation now in a different format, which is equal to 0.2 times 7 plus 0.55 times 10 plus 0.25 times 12, which gives us 1.4 plus 5.5 plus 3, which gives a total average of 9.9. So basically, this was my video about averages and weighted averages. When you understand the system, it becomes rather easy how to calculate a simple average and how to calculate a weighted average. Every number has a certain weight. It means that there is a certain number of times that value is occurring in the average. And we just have to divide everything by n, the total amount, the total numbers that we are considering. Now we can express that in percentages, and then we just divide or multiply all the numbers with their percentage frequency divided by 100. And that's basically how we calculate those weighted averages. I hope this is clear now. Weighted averages are used in a lot of applications, and it's a simple application of mathematics. But before finishing this video, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Click on the bell button so every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.